Rambling with Resolveera. And it's a very happy moment for us to share that today is the second season, episode 1 of Rambling with Resolveera. And we have our special guest, Rubaiya Rahman, as our guest speaker. And Rubaiya, thanks for joining us and for agreeing to be our first speaker for the year 2022. Great pleasure to have you here. And today we are going to discuss about special needs parenting, autism, your services, and of course, mental health issues that come with those, the parenting issues that we face when there is a child with a diagnosis. I would like to tell my viewers and my listeners that this year the theme is special needs parenting and mental health issues of parents when there is a child with a diagnosis. So, this year, 2022, in every episode, we are going to talk about special needs parenting. So without further, introduction from myself, Rubaiya, I welcome you again, and I would request you to tell us about yourself and how you bring the community and your services together.
First of all, thank you so much for having me with you. Resolvera is doing a tremendous job on the awareness thing for mental health, and uh, we are so much connected. Like your work and our work, it's kind of a parallel thing we are doing parallelly, but they are very much connected. I'm really honored that you have invited me to your show, and I'm like beginning the year with you. You are a very good friend of mine, very good friend of ASHO. So I'm really, really honored and happy to be here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And as you know, our work is not a easy subject. Autism, mental disability, mental health issues, these are never a easy subject. This is never a easy thing to talk about. People try to hide these things. People try not to talk about it. And our job is to talk about it. Our job is to bring it out and make people understand that don't uh, make it a stigma, don't make it a taboo for the society, for the parents, for the child. That is what we try to do. Besides all our work, this is our main focus: bring these children, these families with the mainstream.
Mhm.
So, with that, I have to tell you a little bit about our community and our work. Our organization is Autism Society Habilitation Organization. In short, ASHO, as you know, Bangladeshi community, we talk about come with us. ASHO means come, right? So we want them to come with the mainstream people. Sometimes our population, when there is a diagnosis, they think that, oh my God, I cannot come out. What my neighbor will talk about me. They will not be inviting us, or my child will be a troublemaker to a party or their house. So it is better not to bring it out. But in ASHO, we always talk about that if a child with, say, he has diabetes, juvenile diabetes, is he restricted from going to another people's house? It's not. They are coming, they are mixing up with other people, their neighbors, their friends. So if a child has autism, if a child has a mental disability, intellectual disability, why he has to stay home? Why cannot he come out and mix up with their parents and their neighbors and their other friends? So we try to educate our community. I know that there are people who really can accept it, but there is a vast majority who just cannot. Some of them, I don't want to be like saying that everybody is doing that, but there is a major portion of our community. They don't think that it is a acceptable idea of this these families to come out and join their group. So we try to bring them out. We talk about autism and other mental issues, that yes, we have problem, but we have to address it positively. And that is where we come in. We try to educate our parents, because sometimes the parents are also in denial. They want to say, no, 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 my child is okay. The more he grows older, he will come out of it and he will cool down. It is not that. The thing is, we have to understand the diagnosis and we have to address it rightly, and only then we are helping our children. So that is what our main focus, to create the awareness in our community.
So as I understand that when you are providing a service, you're trying to bring in the community to engage them in the awareness activity. You are not only sharing that information, but at the same time you're also engaging the community members to spread that awareness.
Exactly, exactly. Because, there are two prongs of our action or our work. One thing is we want to bring all the facilities, benefits available for these families who has a diagnosis of their child. Of course, they are immigrant community. They may not be knowing lot of the available benefits in this country. So we try to address those benefits for our population, for our autism community, because they have to get resources to help themselves. But at the same time, we have to create the awareness, because otherwise the parents are feeling shy to come out. The other people who are around us in our society, they are also hesitant to take them as their own neighbors. So we are trying to create awareness in the community. At the same time, we are giving the information or bridging the gap between the mainstream benefits and our community.
Okay, so this is like a good segue into our next question, because you kind of already introduced what ASHO is. So ASHO is a non-profit organization, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and why did you create this organization? Because you could have made the awareness movement in any other way. Why was ASHO created?
All
What was
right.
the idea behind it?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. The thing is, as you know, I have a legal background. I am a lawyer, and I started here at NYU. I was studying there. After I completed my studies, I joined a law firm. And when I was in this law firm, lot of our clients were from Bangladeshi community, and this community, as a client and lawyer relationship, we talk a lot. And when we are talking, I could find out that so many families has a child with disability or child with autism. And as you know, I have also a child with autism, so they feel at ease talking with me. And then we started talking. They wanted to know how they can navigate through this life. And as I am already a mother who is working with all these benefits and resources for my own child, I started giving them some suggestions. Eventually, I saw that if I don't have an institution or an organization, I am not helping them properly, because nobody is hearing our voices. I have to give them a voice. And with that end in view, I started talking with lot of parents, lot of our advisors, and they said, yes, why don't you do something for your community? Build a organization, make it a non-profit, and then maybe you will be helping more. So with that end in mind, I started ASHO, and I am very thankful that I started this thing.
Great. And I do know that you have put in a lot of effort in bringing this organization and nurturing this organization. But in the recent times, we know that how organizations have been impacted with the current pandemic, with the health situation. And um, being in the field, I have seen how, like, we had to like immediately take action and go virtual, and everything became remote. I understand with autism, many parents who were getting ABA services at home, those became virtual. And not everybody, one size doesn't fit all, right? So not everybody was able to cope up with this sudden change of, like, being savvy with the internet, able to do things over Zoom, get the training, get the ABA over Zoom. So it has been like a huge challenge for the community. How has COVID-19 impacted your services?
This COVID-19 impacted everybody in the whole world. Everybody is affected. To talk about our organization, we had to shut it down, obviously, because
Wow.
we have to deal with disability, with a very vulnerable population, and we could not take the risk of keeping our office open. So the last 2 years, we were like in person, everything was closed. What we started doing, actually, Board of Education gave me the idea that we have to go virtual. So how virtual we started? First, we started like Messenger and then Facebook, and then started the Zoom. Zoom was pretty much tough on our clients and also for the population, especially those who are with special need. They do not understand because they have a very short focal time, and they don't focus on a TV screen for a long time where people are just talking. So I started with my son because he was at home during this pandemic. We could not afford him to go out for any program, so we stopped him to do any other program. He was home and he was getting bored, and as you know, autism population loves structure. They have to have a life which has a, like, 9 to 5 or to 10. They have certain segments of work, and that's how they are trained to be in. And then when everything shut down, they are at home and not doing anything, and there is no program for them. So what to do then? What we started doing, we started segmenting their life, their time. So from morning it is breakfast time. After breakfast we started yoga, we started some playtime. Like, we segmented the whole thing. Some piano time, some music time, some exercise time, OT, PT, all these things. So once I made a routine for my own son, then I converted it into for other clients for ASHO, and we started talking to them, and we started giving them the Zoom learning. Like, the parents, they were also being given an idea. I have some interns who were going over to the phone and then internet and teaching the parents that how you join a Zoom meeting. Once they are in the Zoom meeting, then we started talking that many parents had the problem with the mask, that how to keep the mask with our children. So we started making this mask thing, that how a child will learn to wear a mask. So that's how we started Zoom meetings with our population. It was a very challenging thing, and so many times we had a crying parents that, oh my God, I was standing in the bus for the bus, and the bus driver didn't take me and my son because he did not keep the mask.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, so that is a real time scenario. It was tough, but as you know, everything has a positive and negative side. COVID-19 had a very negative impact. So many people were really affected, like having COVID. But then there was something positive, that we become more computer savvy. The parents become more computer savvy. They didn't like it, but there was no alternative. We had to do it. So they are also learning and becoming savvy with Zoom meetings. We were partnering with other programs in the city, New York City, New York State, who came forward and helping our parents. So that's how we started doing some programs. And during the COVID, though our office was shut down, we were connected with the parents, and when there was real emergency, like the family had COVID, they did not have any access to food, medicine, ASHO used to collect for buy food for them and medicine. We used to go, our volunteers used to go and leave the food in front of the front door of these parents, and that's how we helped some, not all of them, but some of the families in that dire situation.
Wow, like that's like so impactful because yes, COVID-19 had such a negative impact, but at the same time, it created an opportunity for the families, for the community to also look at alternatives, right? Like, you know, say, I'm not just talking about COVID, but I think the pandemic taught the whole world that we can still run the show online, right?
Yes,
We can
yes,
still work virtually and have the same impact, like if not the same, I would say similar impact, like get initially it was a learning process for everybody, but now everything seems like, oh, okay, I'll get into a Zoom meeting, oh, I'll do a Zoom therapy session, things like that. But we all got to learn this and we all were taught this. And I believe that the community also learned that this is also a way. Tomorrow, when COVID is not there and when things come back to the new normal, things are going fine. If somebody is sick and still wants to attend a session, they can still do it online because there is an option. This road got opened
mm-hmm.
because COVID-19 happened. Um, I really appreciate your effort in, getting your interns and volunteers and, providing food supplies to the families in dire emergencies. These are all like programs that build up the organization, that expand the organization's work. And I believe that ASHO is also starting new programs,
Right.
right? So, would you please talk about what are your plans for the year 2022 regarding expanding ASHO's services for the community?
Okay, I'm very happy to announce that we have been reached out by New York State DDPC. They were the first organization that came out and asked ASHO how we can help our community. So their first thing was with vaccination, because vaccination was a thing, it was necessary, but some people were so hesitant. As a community, we are all hesitant that whether we should take it, whether it has a negative impact on us, how it will be, whether it is actually safe or not. So what we started doing is that we started webinars. We did like almost 35 webinars last year.
Yay!
Yes, I never thought I would be able to do it, but everybody came out when I reached out to anyone that we have to do this webinar. We have to let people know what is good, what is bad about this vaccine, how we can fight, make our society safer with this pandemic. And really it was amazing. We did lot of webinars and lot of question Q&A for our community. So I should say, as a community as a whole, we grew from this pandemic, and we get to know about more about pandemic, more about COVID-19, more about vaccination. And sometimes when the vaccinations first came in, like Moderna, Pfizer, J&J, all these vaccines were coming out. Then we were doing it for the older population, like who are in like the grandparents and all that. But eventually, the question came to the point that how we can help our mentally challenged children. or population? That was a big question, and we had been talking with, especially we have partnered with Montefiore, and another one is um, like another couple of hospitals. They came out and they were helping us to understand that when there is a child in question or a child with autism or intellectual disability, they should be part of the early vaccination process. And that is where we were very hesitant, that whether, when everybody is not vaccinated, whether our children should be vaccinated. And lot of doctors came out and they helped us to do the webinars, and they explained that why it is safe for our population to take the vaccine, even the children. And my son was one of the first one to get vaccinated, and I was kind of anxious, but I knew that I have to do it. And so I also reached out to our parents that please do it. It is good for you, good for your children, good for your household. Keep it safe. And eventually, this awareness created impact. And gradually, I was getting these questions that where can I take my child for vaccination? So it is a, like, we were growing up with all these webinars and the teaching, and I'm so grateful to all these doctors.
I remember one of your webinars that you did for the parents in Bengali. I'm so privileged to be a part of that webinar. And I remember you talking, and there were parents who were doing these live questions and
Yes.
asking where to go, what to do, were there any side effects? And, having your son take the vaccine, even though you were so anxious, it's like, it's definitely, you are such a role model to the community. Great, Rubaya, it's really appreciated because there are people in this world who have like one aspect of their professional life, but there's another aspect personal, but you bring both of them together and you stand out as a role model to the community, which is such a such a great thing to do. And it's also a brave thing to do as a parent, and really appreciate it because you help the community to see that, hey, I'm a mother too, and
Mhm.
I am a family member who is signing off at that sheet to say that, yes, go ahead with the
Exactly,
vaccination.
exactly. It is very important. I think that's where ASHO is very unique, because our board members mostly are parents with a child with autism, and all the parents, we are having meetings. We are saying that whether we should go for vaccination, and we agreed that yes, we are going for the vaccination. We found out the site where we can bring them for the vaccination. So we worked as a family at that dire situation, and it really worked.
So, talking about being a parent, Rubaya, just coming to a little close to Rubaya Rahman as a mom, you are a parent, and I am sure that our viewers and our listeners would would be eager to know what were your main challenges, but at the same time, what were your strengths as a parent of an individual who is diagnosed with autism.
No, no, absolutely. You know Tamzid. He is right now 23 years old. He's a big man now. But still today, I have challenges with him, because it's autism itself is a challenge. With that comes a lot of other challenges. First of all, I should say my life started in Bangladesh. But when I had this child with autism, I had a very like a situation to where I had to take a decision that what I should do. In Bangladesh, when 1998, it was a long time back, and there was close to nothing available for these autism therapies or autism awareness. In fact, I didn't know anything about autism at that time. So it was like a disability, it was a challenge, it was something to me, and I wanted to come here and to find out an answer for autism. And that's how I came here. And I was a student here at NYU at that time. I was doing my master's. At the same time, I was taking my son for different therapies, evaluation, neurologist, psychologist, and all that. And then gradually, it was a learning process for me. I started learning about all these things that, yeah, this is a disability, and the doctors explained it to me that there is no like a tablet to cure it. We have to go by it all my life, and it's a lifelong situation. I have to learn to live with it, and I have to learn positively to live with that. The best thing is that what I learned, that there are disability, people has lot of disability, and we have to learn to live with it. I have to, if I am not, as a mother, I am not positive, my child will never be a positive outcome of it. So what I learned myself, or I taught myself, that be positive. It is not the end of your life. It is not the end of your child's life. You have to help him or her, because you are the person who is making their life worthwhile. Find out what is good, what is strong, the strength of your child, and go by it, and teach your whole family to live with it. And that's, I think that's what I started doing initially. And after 23 years of time I spend with autism, now I think that yes, every disability has a strength. Tamzid is a very compassionate person. But how do I know that? I know it through all these therapies, with all these hours of schools and therapies. I learned that he has all his emotions inside, and given the time, it comes out. He has his anger, he has his love, he has his laughter. Everything works just like any other child. So I have a lot of parents who says that, what should I do? What can I do with my life? What will happen to my child? Yes, it is very tough, but we have to be tough, more tough than autism, and then we'll fight it. I think that is the best way to deal with it. Now, I should say the challenges. Right now, I will tell you a very specific situation. My son, like 3 days back, he all of a sudden he had fever. And as you know, when you get a fever, immediately you think it is COVID. And yeah, the whole house become very worried. And then I said, nobody come near me, nobody come near Tamzid. And then I went for a home kit to test him. Tested him all these hours. I was so nervous. What will happen? All right, that test came negative. So
Congratulations.
yes, of course. And then comes the second phase. Then what's wrong with him? Why he has fever? And I don't want to take him to ER. And gradually I saw that his left side is getting swollen and swollen and swollen. That means he has some infection going there. Now, with autism, my son will never go to a dentist, because once he sees the dentist, he knows that place and he will never open up his mouth. I have this experience from before. And so, what I should do, I have to talk to the doctor. He needs to be sedated, totally sedated, and then only you can look into his mouth. So, right now, what can I do? It was a Friday night.
Okay.
So, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, I called the doctor and he said, immediately start with antibiotic. So, went out and got the antibiotic, and he is now in antibiotic and he is feeling little better. But what is the challenge? Like last 2 months I have been going to all the doctors, the dentist, that do you do the sedation in your clinic? Can you see my son? Everybody said no, they cannot do it. So I have to take him to the ER, or to like make a hospital appointment for that.
Right.
In this COVID situation, I don't think it is so very easy to take him for a dental checkup in the ER, to
Mm-hmm.
expose him to that. So, what is the solution? This is a challenge. Every parent has that who has a child with autism or any other disability where the child will not help the doctor to see his mouth. So we have to find out a way that how a doctor can see a child with autism.
Mhm.
Same with eye exam. Very few doctors can check because he will not look at a letter. He will not speak. He is non-verbal. He is not going to look at a computer and find out what's going on. So these are the few challenges that needs to be addressed because this is real time. Anytime anybody can have a dental problem, an eye problem, and this nonverbal, if your child is nonverbal, he will never let you know or can tell you that what's going on in his life, right? So we have to have those places where the doctors are easy accessible and they know how to deal with this situation. We are still at a limbo what to do in this situation.
That's a big challenge because, as I can understand, I work with the community, and I feel that sometimes, families and parents, they let go vital medical screenings and medical checkups because of the same exact problem that you described. Like, they would not take the child with an autism diagnosis to a dentist or to an optometrist or an ophthalmologist because of the reasons that you said, that the child would be not looking at the direction where the doctor is saying, or might not be verbal enough to express what is being said, or the dentist would not be comfortable opening the mouth. Those gadgets, those lights can be extremely disturbing and uncomfortable for the kid. And for some parents, having faced these challenges, it's easier to let go. Like, okay, whatever happens, happens. You'll just maintain the primary physician, and not any other specialist. So I believe families, they come to you and talk about it to you, and they ask for suggestions.
Yes, absolutely. Every day almost. I get these things, and sometimes I can make a good suggestion. Sometimes I say I have to look for it, and sometimes there is no answer to it. So we are also like a group. We are also trying to find out where to go, what to do, and we are as a group we try to make a list of providers or a network where we can refer our children or a family to go. So that is what is now we are doing, that we are creating a provider list so that it is easier for the parents to come to us, and we can refer them to a place. So this is one thing we are trying to do with ASHO, and also we are doing some computer literacy program right now because we want our population, especially the parents, to be self independent. Sometimes, with a child who has a disability, both the parents cannot go to work because who will look after the child? So we are trying to find a solution to that dilemma. And sometimes, due to the child, the parents are not taking care of themselves, like they are not building up on their skills to go for a work. So we are giving free classes on computer literacy. We are also giving some classes on citizenship prep, English, speaking English classes, so that the life is like a immigrant life is becomes a little bit easier on them. We are also opening up play therapy, ABA.
Yay! That's another yay for our show.
Yes, because finally we are at that place where we can start doing it. I'm very happy. A lot of parents wanted to get it from us, and we did not have the enough resources so long, but now we do. So
Great, great. Congratulations on that. These are like so vital and so important because, as you said, immigrant life, and you're working primarily with the Bangladeshi community. So there is a language barrier, there is a cultural competency issue there. There is hesitance to talk about it. It's also very important for them to understand how to navigate the system because it's too complicated for people who come here and having a child with a diagnosis. sometimes to understand what is available, what is not, what they are eligible for, and what they are not. Citizen versus green card holders versus non-green card holders. It's like very, very difficult
So
to
many
understand.
things. Yeah, so many
Yeah,
things.
and I don't need to like really tell you, because you are in the legal system. You know how difficult it is for
It is.
anybody to understand those
Yeah.
words and those clause and those
Yeah,
policies.
sometimes I'm like we don't have any answer to them. So then you feel so frustrated that oh I cannot help them in any way. Something like SSI benefit. So SSI benefit is not um, like available to so many families, and they think that yes, by right I should get it, but then there is a time gap. So there are a lot of things we have to deal every day, but that's how life is. That's our life with disability.
So, Rubaya, as we are wrapping up our session this evening, um, you talked about frustration, you talked about disappointment, you talked about understanding the system. As a parent, as a you know CEO of a nonprofit organization that works with such a what should I say, such a vulnerable community that works towards the awareness for the community members. Uh, what are your valuable suggestions for the parents, for our listeners and our viewers? Because, it's not just about the parents, it's not just about, the professionals who work with them, but it's also about the community and at large who
Yeah.
need to understand like what people go through, because sometimes we become judgmental about the people who are in a situation and about the people who are helping those people in a situation. So either way, it becomes a very challenging one.
No, absolutely.
What are your valuable suggestions for the community at large?
I should say the suggestion should be accept them at the in a very wider angle that accept everyone. But it is tough, I know, because sometimes it is not so easy to accept everyone. But I should say, don't come to a judgment very quickly. That is what makes us, the parents, the children, even the children with autism or the disability, they feel it right away when somebody is not liking them or they're not accepting them. They understand it right away. They are very sensitive to that. And so we have to, as a whole, as a community at large, we it is better if we give them a chance. And for our parents, I should say that be more positive. I know it is not so easy because with the financial struggle, with the challenge with immigration, sometimes challenge with your family life, there are a lot of things going on in a life of a immigrant community as a whole. But you know, if we are reaching out to one another, helping one another, and let your problem be heard, don't keep it to yourself. There are so many incidences happening in our community. Even in New York, every other day you will see something. Like recently we heard that a tragedy in the family, like the son who had a mental issue, he he made a fatal attack on his mother and younger brother. And it is a tragedy because maybe they kept it to themselves, nobody knew. Maybe the child with disability did not have enough medication, or the whole family didn't understand the disability itself very well. So that led to a tragedy. If we are open enough, if we discuss our problem, we can definitely talk to anybody. Like you are Resolveera, you have a mental health clinic and you talk about it. We are ASHO, we are dealing with autism and other intellectual disability. Can't we talk more that this is what is happening? Even the substance use, if it is happening in a family, why keep it to yourself? Bring it out and let everybody know that somebody can make a suggestion that you do this and your child, your family will be benefited from it. Don't keep it to yourself. There is nothing to hide, because hiding doesn't help anybody. The more you are talking about it, letting people know about it, you will get help. So let us help you.
Great. And before you leave, Rubaya, I would request you to provide your, information. Like if somebody, it's a nonprofit organization, so I'm sure that it runs majority on the basis of funding that you get from the community as well as from, different organizations and different government bodies. So if somebody wants to reach out to you for help or for resources, or if they want to reach out to you to find about funding opportunities for your organization, where should they reach out to you? How can they get in contact with you? This is like for everybody because, I'm
Yeah.
going to share
No,
this
no.
with
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Because that is what we need. If we want to survive, we need funding. We need your help. We need donation, because our organization does not generate money, because we are just giving referrals, we are talking to them, and when there is a program, it is a free program. We are not making money from our program. So we need donation, and all the nonprofit get their funding from the community at large, because the government funding or a foundation funding is very limited. But who can make us live in this world, in this corporate world, or in this non-profit world? By donation. So we'd like to have people know about us. We have our website, that is www.asho-ny.org. We have a donation button there. You can go there. You can call us at 347-873-9962. Our office will contact you if you want to know anything, or if you want to make in-kind donation or cash donation. We are very glad to accept it. And we are also asking you to give us volunteers. You can be a volunteer with us and help us to grow more. We are doing digital literacy class. You can be a teacher. You can be a ABA instructor. You can be with us, and you can be like just a volunteer with us. So be with us, and we will accept you as our family.
So, as you said, Asho in Bangla means to come.
Yeah.
So, I would request our viewers and listeners that do come and join Asho for this noble cause and help Rubaya and the community that Rubaya represents to build a better environment, an aware, environment, and a community that is aware about, the disability issues, especially autism, and how to address the challenges and how to help the community at large. Thank you so much, Rubaya, for your valuable moments. I really appreciate that we are starting our season 2 with you. I wish you a very happy and a very productive, enjoyable the rest of 2022. And we wish that your son, Tamjeed, gets well soon and we all stay safe and see each other in person sometime soon.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Veera Mukherjee. You are phenomenal.
Thank
Always,
you.
always, I tell everybody that I have a very resourceful friend with me, and that is Veera Mukherjee. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you. And we'll see each other soon in person,
So,
hopefully,
yeah,
once, we have better environment.
definitely. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye bye.